In every life, there are moments that define us, that test the very fiber of our being. For some, these moments are gentle whispers of change. For others, they are raging infernos that threaten to consume everything. Today, we're going to talk about a woman who walked through fire, not just metaphorically, but in a way that left scars on her past and forged an unbreakable spirit for her future. This is a story about rising from the ashes, a testament to the incredible power of human resilience. Imagine a life built with care, brick by brick, a childhood filled with dreams, a youth blossoming with promise, a home that was a sanctuary. Now imagine someone trying to burn it all down, not just the physical structure, but the memories, the sense of safety, the very identity woven into those walls. This is where her story begins, not with a gentle flame, but with a blaze fueled by malice, an attempt to erase her history and write a tragic ending. The smoke eventually cleared, but what remained was a landscape of devastation. The people who were supposed to protect her, the community that was supposed to embrace her, had instead turned their backs, leaving her to sift through the wreckage alone. The ashes weren't just of wood and possessions. They were the ashes of trust, of belonging, of a life she once knew. In that silence, surrounded by ruin, it would have been easy to surrender, to let the bitterness take root and choke out any hope. Many would have, and no one would have blamed them. But within her, a different kind of fire began to smolder. It wasn't a fire of destruction, but one of defiance. It was a tiny, stubborn ember of no. No, this will not be my end. No, you will not define my story. No, I will not be a victim of your fire. I will be the architect of my own rebirth. This was the turning point. It wasn't a grand, cinematic moment. It was a quiet, profound decision made in the depths of despair. It was the choice to fight back, not with anger, but with an unwavering commitment to rebuild. The first step was the hardest, forgiving the past without forgetting its lessons. It's a delicate dance, isn't it? To let go of the pain that holds you captive while holding on to the wisdom that protects you. She realized that carrying the weight of resentment was like carrying hot coals from the fire that burned her home. It only continued to burn her. So she began the slow, arduous process of putting them down, one by one. She didn't excuse the actions of those who hurt her, but she refused to let their actions control her any longer. With her hands and heart free from that burden, she started to gather new materials, not bricks and mortar, but knowledge, skills, and a newfound self-worth. She went back to school, not just for a degree, but for herself. Every book she opened was a window to a new world, every lecture a step further away from the ruins. She found a new community, not one based on proximity, but on shared values of support, kindness, and encouragement. These were people who saw the survivor in her, not the victim. They saw the strength in her scars and celebrated the light that was beginning to shine through the cracks. This transformation wasn't a straight line. There were days the ghosts of the past whispered doubts in her ear. There were nights she'd wake up smelling smoke that wasn't there. Healing is never linear. It's a spiral, often revisiting old wounds to clean them more deeply. But with each pass, she grew stronger. She learned to recognize the triggers, to soothe her own anxieties, and to lean on her new support system when the weight felt too heavy. She was learning to be her own safe harbor. Slowly but surely, a new structure began to take shape. It wasn't a replica of her old life. It was something entirely new, something stronger. The foundation was laid with self-love, the walls were built with resilience, and the roof was tiled with hope. The fire hadn't just destroyed. It had cleared the way for something more authentic, more powerful to be built in its place. The person she was becoming was not defined by the tragedy she had endured, but by the grace with which she was overcoming it. And then, she did something truly remarkable. She took her pain and turned it into purpose. She started speaking out, sharing her story, not for pity, but for connection. She created a platform to help others who had been through their own fires. She became a beacon for those lost in the smoke, showing them that there was a path forward. She taught them that the ashes of their past didn't have to be a burial ground. They could be fertile soil for a new beginning. Her greatest wound became her greatest gift. The people who tried to burn her past thought they were writing her final chapter. They thought the story would end with the end written in soot and tears. But they were wrong. They had underestimated the fire within her. They didn't realize that some things and some people aren't meant to be consumed by flames. They are meant to be forged. The heat that was intended to destroy her only served to temper her spirit into something unbreakable, something brilliant. Her story teaches us a profound truth. We cannot always control the fires that life throws at us, but we can choose what we do with the ashes. We can choose to let them bury us, or we can choose to rise. She didn't just survive the fire. She learned to dance in the embers and use the heat to light her own way forward. She rose from its ashes, not as a scorched remnant of who she once was, but as a phoenix, more powerful and radiant than ever before. Her past wasn't erased. It was integrated into a story of triumph that continues to inspire everyone she meets. So if you're standing in the ruins of your own life right now, looking at what's been lost, remember her story. Remember that within you is an ember that no fire can extinguish. Nurture it. Protect it. Let it grow. You have the power to rebuild, to create something beautiful and strong from the very things that were meant to break you. You are the author of your next chapter. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening to this incredible story of resilience. If it resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more inspiring content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. We'll see you in the next one.